4 with the ball, had a real clean look at it, kind of running our stuff, and just kept attacking. So, I'm proud of them for that. It's a long season. You're in a lot of games that are different. Some days you shoot it better, some days you don't. You just got to keep in the fight. I thought we did that.
What flipped in the second half, both from the defense?
Well, we made 7 threes in the second half. And I think once a couple went down, we got a little more confident. We out-rebounded them. It's a big, strong team. We didn't turn it over a bunch. I thought we were a little bit more free-flowing in the second half with our offense. I thought we were a little bit disjointed, standing around a little bit in the first half, settling. We had a couple clean looks at the 3 early. They didn't go. They go. Maybe it's a different flow the remainder of the first half. But we just tell our guys, keep being aggressive. Because, Peyton and Chris in the first half couldn't get anything to go, and they were both really good in the second half. Along with Connor was great.
You're a coach and you're a dad. And when Connor comes off the floor there, it looked like you kind of flipped into dad mode a little bit.
Definitely dad mode there. You're absolutely right. I think back to first time I took him to the Final Four, first time I took him on a road trip with us. I remember we lost, it would have been 2007, the championship game of our conference tournament. He was sitting on the bench and he was bawling his eyes out when the game ended, because we weren't going to get to go to the NCAA tournament. But I'm just so proud of him. And, we're not here if he doesn't come back. And I think that's a fact. What he did for this team in terms of leadership and versatility showed right through to the end of this game, and he was just an absolute warrior in that game, and he never let us quit. And I would tell you, in the huddles, after we got down 17, it was a confident group, so I'm really proud of him for that.
Fran, it's probably no coincidence that the years that Connor's played, you guys have made the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
The leadership that he brings and the confidence.
Yeah, he's 5 for 5 and going to tournaments. He's a consummate winner. We talked about that the other day. You look at what he did in high school and his record and what his record is here. And he's an unselfish person, so he recognizes if we have a leading scorer in the country, a leading three-point shooter in the nation, or a guy that made more threes than anybody in the history of the Big Ten, he's going to make sure that those guys get the ball. And he's going to make sure that if a guy is struggling, he talks to that guy. He was really talking to Chris. Chris was struggling in the first half. Goes back and gets 15, I think, in the second half, which we needed. And same with Peyton. He's that guy that really, I think, brings out the best in all of his teammates. And there's just no substitute for how valuable that is.
This is probably a dumb question. Do you feel like this game would have been different if it was in Des Moines? It would certainly seem like a home court.
I think it probably would have been. Yeah, I think that's a fair statement. I think it would have been different if it was in Des Moines. It's not a dumb question. I think it's a fair question. I just got asked the same question in there. But you've been on the road with us, Chad. The environments that we see, quite honestly, were most of the time tougher than this one. And that's not to say that this wasn't impressive in the NCAA tournament, but that's what we face at Indiana, at Maryland, at Rutgers. You name it. At Michigan State. You were at Michigan State. You know what it's like. So we're used to that. It's not an excuse. I put the toughest schedule in the history of Iowa basketball in front of this team. And we had a lot of question marks coming into this team with who we graduated. And they just kept coming. And we had some tough games. You walk off the floor after we lose to Eastern Illinois, and you're like, we're going to be able to get this team to the NCAA tournament. And they never stopped believing in each other. They didn't believe it in themselves. So I'm just really proud of that. And you look at how we played at the end of the Michigan State game at home. That's indicative of who these kids are. So I love each and every one of them. I'm so proud of them. you know, we're happy to be in this tournament, and we're not going to complain about where the game was.
What's next? Just portal stuff, and then this summer you guys are going overseas. Right?
Yeah, we're going overseas in August. Yeah, we'll take a step back here, and you know, we have a scholarship to give, so we'll be looking for somebody, and trying to fill out our roster.